This week on Race for the Roster, the injury bug hits hard again for Canada. And what could this January camp mean for World Cup hopefuls? This is Race for the Roster, where Stephen Caldwell has the weekly task of predicting Canada's 26 for 26 and also the starting 11 for the opening game of the World Cup in Toronto. And you might have noticed this is not Stephen Caldwell. It's Kevin Kilban who steps in for Stevie as he's away this week. Let's kick off by looking at the current squad, the 26 that are projected right now by Stephen Caldwell. 7 players are locked into the starting 11. Richie Laryea is the only one of the 7 taking part in Canada's current 10-day camp in California. Let's get to this week's headlines. And bad news for Jacob Schaffelberg. He's expected to be out for 2 months following groin surgery. Schaffelberg isn't taking part in Canada's January camp, which includes a friendly against Guatemala in LA this coming Saturday. Also, injury news. Newest Canadian defender Alfie Jones is sidelined long-term following ankle surgery. Jones of Middlesbrough isn't expected to be available for the Canada-March international window. And after missing a crucial penalty for Juventus, Jonathan David then went on a week later to have a goal and an assist in a 3-0 win against Ismael Kone's Sassuolo. The entire Juve squad celebrating the goal with Jonathan David. He'd gone 135 days without scoring in Serie A. Let's take a look at Canada's roster for this week's camp in LA. And Jesse Marsch replaced the injured Jacob Schaffelberg with Toronto FC winger Malik Henry. 15 of the 20 players in the squad currently play in MLS. Liga MX winger Marcelo Flores is in the squad. He previously represented Mexico, but is still eligible for a one-time switch under current FIFA regulations. He scored 2 goals for Tigres on Sunday. So Marcelo Flores arriving in this Canada camp in form. An interesting comment from Guido Pizarro, his head coach, after the game with Tigres, saying that they're going to do whatever they can to try and help him make Canada's World Cup squad. It's a big few days for him, isn't it? I
think it's a big few days for a lot of players, but particularly Flores. You know, he's been on the radar for Canada for such a long time now. And you've known a lot more of him than I would have done at this stage. His name has particularly come up in the last, 2 or 3 months. Jesse Marsch has made a real pitch to get him involved with Canada. So this is a big camp, as I said, for a lot of players, but it's about his attitude, how he turns up for training, what he does on the training ground to impress Jesse Marsch. But yeah, absolutely a big time for him, yeah. Jacob Schaffelberg is out. He was such a huge piece of Copa America. Are there any concerns about him now heading towards the World Cup? And also, some of the players on the outside, on the bubble of Stevie's squad that he has right now, have an opportunity to try and push their way into Jesse Marsch's thinking. Yeah, I think that's fair. Schaffelberg to start with, Luke. I think he is under pressure. And it's not just with him injured and being out for a couple of months. It's been his form of the last or last year, should I say. His form across 2025 wasn't consistent enough. And I think the injuries have really cost him going into 2026. On that bubble there that you're looking at Osorio, you're looking at Jayden Nelson, 2 big names essentially that have been around Canada's squad for a long time. I think it's up to them to show the right attitude to Jesse Marsch, to really show their leadership, particularly Osorio, you feel, because of the experience that he brings. It's up to him to really impress on the rest of that group that's going to be part of this Guatemala camp, yeah. So that takes us to our key Canadians to finish off, and it's a big week for some of those players fighting for the World Cup spots. Canada taking on Guatemala in a January friendly this coming Saturday.